OWS, oily water sewers, they are always having oil separators for oil recovery on the network, on that OWS network. So you have to be watchful, discuss with the piping department about the OWS oily recovery and oil water separator you have to design. And then OWS pipes are generally CS pipes or HDPE pipes. They don't use RCC pipes because oil will get stuck to the RCC pipes. They will use HDPE or carbon steel pipes. Next, going to the process drain. Process drain, I told you, they are collected. They will be generally CS or RC pipes. They are connected in the drums and these underground drums, and then they are this CWD. CBD is closed blowdown drum and oily drain. So they are connected to the drums, underground drums, and disposed. So this is totally something different, worth learning. Next, the sanitary drains and sewers. They are generally in cast iron or stoneware pipes. You must have seen stoneware pipes in Mumbai. Those who are residents of Mumbai, at least in Mumbai, there are many sewers are stoneware pipes. Olden system have stoneware pipe. The new system they are using CS, but olden is stoneware pipes. And they have a series of inspection chambers, manholes, soak pits, septic tanks. So all this you require to learn, and then at certain intervals you have to keep on providing these inspection chambers, manholes, septic tanks, etc. And then of course they are connected finally to the sewage treatment plant. Okay, so all these second to fifth, they are closed conduit system, and stormwater drain is a open channel flow, and accordingly this is a flow through pipes. So you will have to use the formula for flow through pipes, the hydraulics formula for pipe flow through closed conduits you will have to use, and accordingly the design is done. Basically, the design of a drainage system, it includes segregation of waste, oil recovery, if it is oil sewer, then sludge disposal, chemical waste. There are sometimes biological waste also, or chemical treating is also required. The sewer and drainage system has to be designed to be a free flowing system to collect and convey all wastewater to their final destination. It has to be free flowing or gravity flow. Introducing pumps certainly increases the cost. Like whenever there is no other alternative, like suppose the height where the disposal to be done is much above, then you will require to add pump. But usually pumping system you should avoid. You should do all free flowing system or free flowing drain or gravity drains. They are the cheapest to design. Introduction of pumps certainly increases the cost. If throughout the round the clock 24/7, if pumps are pushing the drainage into the disposal points, it is certainly a costly design. So be watchful. We have to be watchful. We are answerable to whatever we design. There is certainly a check or audit happening. So why will be the question if you design a pumped system. So safest and cheapest is to design free flowing. And so going to showing you few more pictures. Yeah. So this is about industrial plant drainage. These are the different cross sections of the drain. So drain could be a rectangular drain like this. This horizontal line at the sides is suppose ground level, and this is excavated and the drain is formed. This could be, I have not shown brick or anything because the walls and the base slab could be either RCC, PCC, brick masonry or stone masonry, or just a cut in the earth also. So this, it can be a semicircular also. It can be just a semicircular cut, even a triangular cut in the earth. They call it ditch. This is another shape, possible shape for a drain, which is trapezoidal shape. But of course, when the quantity of water or quantity of discharge entering the drains is very large, then These rectangular and semicircular drains do not suffice. You have to go for the trapezoidal drain. Only thing, for trapezoidal drain, sufficient plant area or plot area should be available, because the top width is very large. So if there is a road over here, they will collect water from the road. On the side of the road, if there is a plant, this is a unit plot. From here also they'll collect water. So the width at the top will be considerable, and if that much space is available, then only you can go for a trapezoidal system. And any plot, any one industrial plot need not always have only same section of drains. All drains need not be only rectangular or only semicircular. It will be a mix. You have to design it. So depending on the circumstances, depending on the situation, you have to take a decision and decide whether it is going to be drain from this point to this point, has to be trapezoidal or a rectangular or a even V shape, triangular. So this is a typical industrial one shade I have drawn, and how water is collected, like source of water. This shade is having a roof slope, and there is a gutter at the top. Half the roof, this gutter is collecting water. This gutter also has a slope towards this end. From here, there is a rainwater downtake, and that rainwater downtake finally over here, this is a rainwater downtake. It is coming down and then it is discharging into our drainage system. Not always a drainage system is covered. Here, this is a paved area. So in the paved area, you cannot keep it open. Someone's foot will go inside it. So in the paved area, it is closed. Otherwise, when it is running parallel to the road for kilometers of a road or meters of road, you cannot keep putting cover to it, because it adds to the cost. Finally, the money is going from client's pocket. So as far as possible, you should give economic design. Your design should be strong. It should withstand whatever is the discharge, and yet it should be economic also. So wherever there is pavement, wherever someone can fall in it, keep it covered. Wherever it is running parallel to the roads, it can be kept open. The cover again, it can be, this is a mild steel removable cover. It can be cast iron also, or it can be RCC precast cover also removable. We see on our roads there are RCC removable covers, and you require to design the covers also for the RCC or whatever load it is carrying, whatever length it is having. So this is about the rainwater downtake in both the sketches, both the photographs. Next, I'm going next pictures also talk to you about different parts of a drainage system. Suppose this is the collection point from some adjacent plot, and this is a drain. This is a brick or stone drain showing different materials of construction. Then this is a manhole. Suppose wherever it is, there is a road crossing, the drain cannot be open. Here there is no road crossing, so drain is open. But at the road crossing, the wheel of any vehicle will go inside it, so drain has to be closed. So here, connecting the manhole on left and right hand side of manhole, there is a closed drain below the road. This is a road crossing. It can be a hume pipe or it can be a box culvert at the road crossing. Now, if the road crossing is very long, if some sewage or if some mud gets collected in it and it will block the flow of a drain, then you require to clean it. And that is why these manholes are provided. And they are provided with heavy duty cast iron covers, because even if a vehicle, even if a crane wheel pass over it, it should not fail. So they are provided with these removable covers, heavy duty covers. They remove it and they put rod in it, bent rod, and they clean the mug if there is a blockage in a drain. So manholes are certainly required. There are norms and thumb rules, and there are rules at how many meters center to center what distance you should provide manholes to keep the drains unblocked. Okay, so this is road crossing. At the road crossing, drains have to be closed. Even if throughout remaining rain they are open, at the road crossing they are closed. We require to design the pipe diameter and thickness also, we also require to do RCC calculation of this box culvert. And this is the typical photograph of a box culvert. You must have seen. Now when I say box culvert, perhaps for someone it didn't click anything, but when you see this picture, you must have seen it so often on our highways, especially long distance roads. So whenever there is a road and this is a drain, whenever drain comes meets a road crossing, it cannot cross with open like this. The wheels will get stuck in these drains, open drains. So as I told you, they use this box culvert also. So this is a RCC culvert, this is a two cell culvert. The drain is coming from that side to this side, water is passing here and the traffic is passing from above. So these RCC walls and the slab, top slab, you require to design for the vehicular load from top, plus little earth filling above it, weight of that earth filling, plus whatever is the water inside it. So there is certainly design for the box culvert also. So this page talks about the material of construction and various parts of the drainage system. Going next to the next page, left hand side, when I say word runoff, maybe something doesn't click to someone. So this is suppose a plant building, or maybe any canteen building also. There are canteens or even dispensaries or even meeting rooms in a plant. So whatever is the area, there will be a rainfall over the roofs of those buildings, plus there will be rainfall on the surrounding plot, paved area. So that is collected, that quantity of water in meter cube is collected, and that is the runoff. So this is runoff coming down. It is collected over here. This is something like a manhole. This is an inlet. It is having a removable cover. Of course, whenever it is an inlet, over here also it is there. You must have seen such things. It has a serrations, openings. So it is such a big thing that it is having cover in such a way that someone cannot, a person or a wheel of a vehicle doesn't enter it, doesn't get stuck in it, but yet there are openings. The water from anywhere can go and enter it. The water goes down, then it is connected to stormwater drain pipes, underground pipes. At the road crossing, I told you there are pipes I showed over here. These are the pipes for the road crossing. So this is that pipe, this is crossing the road, and then it is collected to an end discharge point, which will be a water body. It can be a river or a lake or a nala also, and this is the outlet point of the drainage system. After road crossing, you can keep it open. So you have to be judicious about deciding whether the drain is going to be closed or open. You have to give not only strong design, always remember you are expected to give economic design also to the client. You cannot keep on, I felt like providing this, so I provided. No, you are answerable for every decision you take. So you should be judicious. These are the removable covers with openings on the top. So water will enter, but no one can fall inside it. This is another inlet chamber. It can be an inspection chamber. It can be a manhole also. So such systems are there in the middle of the drainage system or in the drainage network we design. And this sketch talks about runoff, and this sketch talks about the covers. This is also another road side drain. This is a road under construction. Of course, the drain is constructed. The backfilling is not yet done. This is a RCC drain with removable RCC covers. Instead of these serrations, they have kept circular holes. The water from the road and from side unit plot also will enter the drain through the holes. Okay, it is client's decision also. Some clients, they don't want open drains at all. So you have to discuss with client, understand their requirement and needs. Client needs understanding is also very important, and then provide a cover like this or don't provide a cover. Going to the next sketch. This is about us sanitary drains or drains coming out from toilets. We also call them either or we also call them sewers. Wherever there is occupancy in any building, there will be a sanitary drain. You must have seen, of course, sanitary drain also obvious. They cannot be open. So they are a closed system. They are closed sewers. They are generally always they will be circular, generally RCC pipe or stoneware pipes. This is a typical view of a sewage treatment plant. So there will be an inlet from somewhere. All the sewers are connected and the last sewer is coming and it is draining into it. That sewage is treated. Here, sewage treatment plant, designing a sewage treatment is done by a environmental engineer, another branch of civil engineering. Civil engineering has so many branches like structural engineer, construction engineer, environmental engineer, and you are probable underground drainage system engineer. So sewage treatment plant will be designed by environmental engineer. The structures in it, RCC structures in it will be designed by RCC engineer, and a drainage engineer will connect the drains. They will check the invert level requirement from the environmental engineer over here, and he will drain all his sewage, collect all the sewage, make a neat network, safe in design to carry all the required discharge, and he will discharge it or dispose it into sewage treatment plant. This is a manhole with a cover. They often have vents also. So there are so many parts of a network when you are designing it. You come to know about it. Air vents are required in sewers. Lot of biogas is also generated. You have to vent it out, otherwise they will explode. The pressure will be generated and they will explode the sewers. So there are vents, and the gas is left to the atmosphere. This is also cover, and this is a septic tank. So here the sewage is entering. There is a wastewater sludge sits at the down, and the upper scum is taken out from here, and then there are inspection pipes, or there are air vents also to remove the foul gas from it. So like this, the system, any system will have some intermediate, either inspection chambers or pits to drain it. Even in the oily water sewers, I told you oily water sewers have in between oil separators. There are RCC tanks many times, and the oil enters from one side. I can show in this if you can relate it. Suppose this is a oily water separator. This is a oily RCC tank. It is generally open on the top. There is a baffle wall over here, or a divider wall over here. The oily water comes over here. You know that oil is lighter than water, so water sits down and oil floats on the top. So the baffle wall height is such that the upper oil, suppose this brown thing is a oil, that upper oil goes from this compartment to this compartment. Only oil goes out and it is separated. So oil recovery is done. At the bottom, there is a water. On the side walls, there will be a pipe, exit pipe. All the water will be removed from side. All oil will be removed from top. So such oily water separators you require to design, and then that oil is either taken to ETP. If it is, there are laboratories, many laboratories in the industrial plant to check the pH value or contents, do the chemical analysis of all these drains also. Suppose oil recovered is good enough, then it is used or it is diverted to reuse somewhere. The water which is separated from oil water separator, if that water it is tested in the laboratory, if it is good enough, it is connected to raw water fire water pond. If that water has some impurities, it will go to effluent treatment plant. So like this, there are destinations for the disposal of any drainage which is there in a plant. So for contaminated raw water, there will not be any separator or anything, but even for process drains and contaminated drain, process drain, or if there are chemicals in it in a plot, there will be underground pipes, and every few meters there will be a collection pits and chambers, all the pipes are connected to it. All the water from the paved area, it is collected in those chambers. Those chambers are connected to each other, and then they go finally into the effluent treatment plant where they are treated. The effluent is removed. The harmless effects of effluent are nullified by adding some chemicals to it. They are made harmless, and the water recovery, if it is good, it is connected back to the raw water firewater pond. So like this, the whole system, you have to understand. You have to sit with a piping engineer, understand the system, understand what inputs are there. Now about oily water sewer design, you require a quantity. The stormwater drain quantity you can find, the discharge entering your drain you can find yourself. Civil engineer can find yourself by that C into I into A formula. But for all other systems, these three systems, contaminated rainwater system, oily water and process drains, you require to sit with process or piping person and understand how much is the discharge entering your pipes. As I told you, these three are closed systems. They are the flow in the closed pipes. So how much diameter of the pipe and what slope of the pipe you will give, how will you decide? So discharge is given by piping and chemical process engineers on your project. So take it from them, understand them, and then design the diameter and slope of your pipes. Again, for this also, we use the hydraulic formula 1 upon n r raised to 2 by 3 and s raised to 1 by 2, where s is the slope. Suppose 1 in 500 is a slope, that is S. R is the hydraulic radius, which is equal to A upon P, where A is the weighted area and P is the weighted perimeter. So I think you know this formula. We have all learned it in our bachelor's graduation program in the college, in the university, and it is under the hydraulics. So flow through open channels and flow through closed conduits formula we have to use. Next, I am showing the sources of oily water sewers, contaminated rainwater sewers and closed blow down. So this is a typical industrial plant. It is certainly different than our residential or commercial buildings. Most of the industrial process plant, they are open. They are open to sky. There are no walls to it. There are no walls, often no slabs also. Only structural steel buildings are there. So many equipments are there. These are the vertical equipments. You see here some horizontal equipments. There will be many pumps, and all these are steel structures with vertical horizontal bracings. Now on these steel structures, each equipment on each floor, some process is happening. Some fluid is mixed with some other chemical, and at certain temperature and pressure, when they are mixed, you get some product. That product is conveyed by pipes. There is a mesh of pipes. If you see, this is a typical look of an industrial plant. It is not very commonly seen because they are not around us. We mostly see only residential and commercial buildings around us. So this is a typical industrial plant where we have to do drainage. So many pipes and equipments through the walls or through the pipes. There can be small and big leakages. Something must be falling down on the floors when there is a rainfall, or when there is a little fire, and to extinguish fire we spray water. That water will fall down and come to the ground level. As it comes down, it gets mixed with the impurities over here. The impurities can be chemicals, then it will be a process drain, or it can be oil also. Suppose this pipe has oil which is leaking and a rain falls there, that oily water comes to the ground over here, then it has to be diverted to oily water sewers. These buildings are mostly open buildings. Why? Because so many pipes and walls are entering from all the sides of a building. If you provide walls, the brick walls will have so many cutouts or openings in it that finally it is might as well not provide a brick wall. So these are generally plant buildings, industrial plant buildings in a process plant. They are generally always open. So rainfall can also go inside our own houses. Residential building, they have walls, and rainfall water doesn't come to the rooms or in the floors. But here, from all sides, even the rainfall goes and sprinkles water on the floors. The floors are given slopes. The slopes are diverted towards the rainwater downtake. From the downtake, from top to bottom, from all waters, the water is collected. This water is certainly going to be one of the three types, either contaminated rainwater, oily water, or processed rain. Okay, so you should know the chemical engineer in this on your project and a piping engineer. He will help you to estimate the discharge going into your pipe. You have to design this downtake also, rainwater downtake, for whatever discharge it is there. As it comes down, if it is contaminated, it will not be sprayed over here. There will be a small pit or chamber over here. It will enter that chamber. From that chamber, there'll be another chamber over here. Chamber to chamber, there'll be underground pipes, mesh of pipes connected, and finally it will be taken to the effluent treatment plant. So this is how the process happens. This is how you should understand, and from whom to take what input is very important. You should not ask piping engineer or chemical engineer like what is the rainfall and what is the discharge in stormwater drain. No, it is wrong. Stormwater drain and even the sanitary drain, sewage discharges, civil engineer finds himself. He's supposed to use formula and he's supposed to use his expertise to find the discharge in those drains. But oily water sewers, CRWS and process drains, he will get inputs from someone else. Now this is again a tank farm I have shown. It is actually just like we have farm, wheat or rice ka farm. Like that, there is a tank farm. These are the storage tanks in a plant. It can be oil and gas refinery or any process plant has storage tanks. All storage tanks are generally kept near to each other together, and then it is surrounded by a dike wall or a small retaining wall. If there is rainfall in this tank farm area, that rainfall will flow on the paved area. Inside the dike wall or inside the retaining wall, there is a small retaining wall around each tank farm. So these 6 tanks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is the floor you can see, and surrounding that there is a retaining wall. It is called dike wall. There will be a paving over here. All the rainfall inside the retaining wall on the paving, there will be a little slope. It will get collected on one side. There will be a drain provided, and depending on the type of impurities over here. So this was anyway a last slide. So this is all about the various 5 types of drainage systems and how to design them and how to take care of them is very important. There are formula for designing them and there is a way how you should connect it. So ending over here, I hope people found this useful, this session useful, and I'm winding up over here. If there are any questions,